Hello, and welcome to Designer Discussions with Miriam, Jason, and Maria. Today, we're going to talk about how to make your website searchable by all of the engines.
Welcome to the Designer Discussions podcast with
Jason,
Maria,
and Miriam. Tune in each week where we talk about marketing, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
We're going to talk to Jason, and he's going to inform us on what is new for website SEO so that your page pulls up fast and you are completely up to date with all of the new ways that we're going to be finding websites now via voice, AI, and just a standard Google searches. So Jason's going to cover all of that for us today, and I am super excited to learn more about this.
So I often hear this a lot when I do presentations. I actually did one for KBiz last month, and one of the questions that I always get is SEO going away because of AI? And I always say it's not going away, it's evolving. And that's what we're going to talk about today is some of the ways you can actually optimize your site so it can be found anywhere, no matter if you're doing a voice search, AI, or if you're doing a traditional search. And I would say you need to start with the EEAT principle. So that's expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And that's something that you'll hear a lot in the SEO terms is the EEAT. And it's just talking about creating content that's actually aimed at your target audience. And I'm always start there because if you hear me talk, I'm always say you have to know who your target audience is. And we have exercises on our website. You could head to designerdiscussions.com and find all of the client avatars we have there. And that's just to help you understand who you're creating content for. Because at the end of the day, what AI is trying to do is trying to find the right source for whatever your question is. And if you're responding and if you're creating content for your audience the right way, you can be one of the sources that AI, voice command, traditional search, whatever it is, finds you over your competition. And I'll often say that AI, even though it's great, it has created a lot of noise in the industry. And there's a lot of content out there, and it's easier to create content now because now anybody can say, create me a 1,500 word blog around creating light in the space. And it will write that blog for you. My advice is not to copy and paste that onto your website as the blog because now you're just one of millions that have that same type of content because AI derived that content from the internet, from other sources, but it's not unique to you. So if you use that tactic, use that as an outline to then alter the blog and add your emphasis on it for your ideal audience. And now you have authoritative content, a part of the EEAT that ties into what you want to aim at your end user or at your ideal client. So actually personalizing content is one of the ways you get found because like I said, there's a lot of content out there. So being able to take what AI gives you, if you use AI to help you create the content, but then add your own spin to it, helps you have content that is unique to you and actually personalized for your specific audience. Okay, so that's one of the ways. Use AI also to help you determine what the keywords are that you want to have the content for. So there are simple prompts out there that you can look at or create in terms of the keywords for your audience. If you listen to Maria, how she talks to how to create a prompt, you have to know the area, the location, you have to know the audience, you have to know what it is that you want to do. So when you're creating the prompt, you're creating the prompt around what you do, what your services are, who your audience is, where you're located, and what you want to get out of it. So by creating a prompt around that and then the keywords that others were searching to find you, now AI will give you certain keywords that you want to write content for or rank for. And now you know the type of content you need to create content around. So that's a way that you can use AI to help you. And then you could create the content around that. So that's one of the things too. On the technical side, this is a little technical for most business owners, but in terms of schema data. So that's the behind the scenes, that's the technical information on your website on how it's organized for the search engines, what they look for, the sitemap, and all that. So you could do a simple prompt to have AI do schema data on your website. What that does is that helps the search engines know what your site is about. Because yes, you may have a remodeling website, but you may also do roofing, you may do siding, you may do windows. And if you do a lot of other services besides just remodeling, it can get confusing to the search engine to know exactly what you do. But with the schema markup, that helps the search engines know, okay, they do remodeling and that's their main service. Sub services below that are roofing, siding, whatever. And so that's the purpose of the schema data, is to let the search engines know exactly what your site is about, how it's organized, what are the main topics, what are the subtopics, on and on from there. But at the high level, it's just about organizing your site, having a sitemap to tell the search engines what you are, what you do, what you're all about. Okay. Something else in terms of AI is really monitoring what is happening. And that I always say, anytime I talk about website or SEO, making sure at the foundational level, you have Google Search Console, Google Analytics installed on your site, because those two properties can help you analyze what's happening on your site. So you can look at, in terms of the keywords that you're ranking for, you could look at who's visiting your website when, who is actually clicking on the page, how long are they there. This is all information that you should analyze from Analytics and Search Console. Then you could take that information into AI and help it create you an SEO plan around that. That helps you to say, okay, this is the type of content along with the keywords that I should write for. These are the people that are looking for me. This is how they are looking for me. These are the keywords that they're typing in and all of that. So that's in terms of the analytical side, that you need to understand what are the end users searching for. What is it that they're trying to find when they search for either a design company, a remodeling company, whatever it is. So you can understand that, so you can in turn write content, have your site respond accordingly, and that'll help you on the SEO side. And if you answer it that way, you're answering for whether they're searching for you traditionally on a computer or a mobile device, whether they're using AI, Chat, GPT, or any of the other search engines, or if they're doing voice search. So using the EEAT principle as a foundation will help you no matter what platform they're searching for you on. And then using AI to help you, like I said, help you, not do the work for you. Again, help you. So AI should be able to provide you an outline, not provide you the work. If AI provides you the work, then everything I'm talking about is null and void, because again, if AI does the work, there's no reason for a search to choose you over anybody else, because it's not unique, it's not personalized. So remember, use AI as a tool, not as the worker.
I'd like to pick your brain on this topic. So now that we're using AI and voice search for websites, does that mean that we need to, because you were saying our schema, and our schema is basically like our outline, right? And the pages of our website. Does all of this new technology impact the organizations of the organization of our websites that we've been using historically in any way, or are we still okay with the way that we've been setting up websites, would you say?
Basically, it hasn't changed. It's just that a lot of web designers may not have designed in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, they'll just design around what the end user or the client wants to do, but they don't take into account the SEO of it as well and the impact of it. And so that's something, if you are doing either a refresh to your website or you're hiring a web designer to do your website for the first time, make sure they're taking into account SEO tactics, AI tactics into what they design, not just creating the pages and the layout and the look, but all of the behind the scenes well. So if you're working with a web company that has already done this, there really is no change. But like I said, a lot of web design companies don't actually think about AI, SEO until after the end, until after they're about to launch. Now you really need to think about this in the foundational talk of when you're developing the site.
Thank you. And then I have one more question. You know how we've talked about our blogs dead, right? And our principles about the concept behind blogs are that you need that longer format content that is like specific to your business, and that you really need to update and refresh pages more than adding on more pages. How does that apply now with the AI search of a website? Does that still apply in those principles, or do we need to look at changing some of that as well moving forward?
You can use it as long as the original content is original to you and it's actually personalized to your audience. If the content was created generically for a generic audience in nature, now you may want to alter it to make sure it ties into your ideal client or to the audience that you want to aim at. But as long as it's aimed at an audience, it's okay. But if it's generic in nature, you want to alter it.
Okay. And do we need like more pages to our websites, or we're good with the kind of like the status quo to date, and we just add pages through blog and that kind of stuff? What would you say for that?
I will say with the pages, that's, a loaded question. It just honestly depends on audience. So it depends on if you've answered enough of the information. Like for instance, if you are a remodeler and you have different services, one of the ways, instead of having all of the services on one page, you may want to break that up into different pages. So if you do kitchen remodeling, bath remodeling, whatever it is, as opposed to having it all on one page, you may want to break that up into individual pages, because those individual pages, you can have more expert content on those individual pages than on one long page that can scroll forever. Now you can have one page where you have a lot of expert content with images, video, explanations, testimonials, project examples about that specific service. That leads into the EEAT principle in terms of having expert content that shows you as the authority on that topic in your field, in your specific location. Because remember, it's about being an expert on the topic, in the field, in your location. You're not an expert in all of the US. You're an expert in Sheboygan. You're an expert in Austin. You're an expert in Chicago for that specific topic.
No, thank you so much. That like clarifies and helps us to understand more about, it's more of a tidy up, an organization, than it is about like a whole new perspective on how to handle SEO. And then would you remind us what EEAT stands for?
Okay. So EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jason. I really learned a lot from you in this episode. Join us again in 2 weeks for the next episode of Designer Discussions.
Your business is unique, and your marketing should be too. Discover how to personalize your approach for SEO, PR, and beyond to attract more of the clients you love to work with. In our Academy membership, with us Designer Discussions podcast hosts as your personal coaches, we show you how to customize your marketing. With weekly live sessions, and exclusive community, practical resources, and expert guidance, we're here to simplify your marketing and boost your business. Sign up at designerdiscussions.com or follow the link in the show notes.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions and all of the helpful information. Subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. We look forward to having you back next week. For more information on the podcast and the marketing studio, visit designerdiscussions.com and follow us on social media.